These handle grips are the best purchase that I've made for my videography over the past year, and I'm going to tell you exactly why in this video. Welcome back to Cashed Out. Today we're going to be talking about the Smallrig dual handle hand grips, and these things, like I mentioned, are the best purchase that I've made for my videography over the past year. And to go do a little bit of a background, let's kind of walk down memory lane a little bit. When I was doing videography throughout all of last year, I was mainly shooting with a monopod. Like I mentioned, I do hybrid photography and videography. So when I was shooting, I would like the monopod because it gave me the ability to be able to switch quickly from photo to video, right? I didn't have to make too many adjustments. Can just click the button on my R3 and we switched over to photo, click back, and we're back to video. And the monopod was fine at first, right? At first it was fine. I was able to run with it and I was all good. But when I started using the 28-70 RF lens more and more with my R3, it really became a pain in the butt because the 28-70, like I mentioned, it's already a 3-pound lens on top of putting that on my R3 and then attaching that to a monopod, which was pretty hefty. It had some good size to it, so it was a little bit heavy setup. And after shooting for like 8 hours, 10 to 12 hours on a wedding, I really felt it in my traps. Like my shoulders were tight. I was like, ugh. Like after a shot, like whenever I would take a break in between shooting, maybe about 3 to 4 hours in, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I felt like an old man. And that wear and tear, because when you're shooting on a monopod, you have to stay, kind of have to stay more steady, you have to stay more stiff, kind of control when you pan and tilt, and being able to do that, that's a lot of tension on your shoulders. And when you're carrying the monopod with that heavy camera setup, that's more tension and more stress on your shoulders. So it just kind of built up over time. So I started looking for a solution to do this, and I used to shoot with a gimbal, and I have nothing against gimbals. I liked them. I just thought that the monopod would be easier for hybrid shooting, and it was to an extent, but it was really taxing on my body. So I went back to shooting with a gimbal, and I started shooting again with the DJI RS2. One thing that I noticed is as I started shooting with it, I still kind of had that same tension when I was holding the gimbal like you normally would, right? Normal gimbal, you hold it, grip it down here, and then you're walking around with that heavy lens setup, and I was still feeling it. It wasn't as bad as the monopod, but I still felt it a little bit. So just kind of I started thinking and looking around, and I ended up on these Smallrig handle grips, and oh my goodness, these things have totally made the difference. And it's the best purchase that I've made, not only for my videos, but also for my health, honestly, just in terms of being able to sustain doing what I'm doing. So we're going to talk a little bit about these. They're not that fancy. There's not a ton of detail to get into with them, but I just want to talk to you about how they work and some of the benefits that I've gotten from it. So if you're looking for these might be something to really dig into if you need some relief and some pressure off of your body as you're using your gimbal and shooting your videos. So let's dig into what these have to offer. So the hand grips come in a really nice and simple package. It comes with 2 hand grips and it comes with 2 side rails. And to set it up, it's pretty easy. You just connect the hand grips to the side rails and then clamp the side rails to the side of your DJI RS2, and you're ready to go. And it's really lightweight. It can package up pretty easily. You can actually fit it in your DJI RS2 Pro kit. If you had the bag, the carry case for your RS2, you can fit it in there nice and compact. So really nice, really lightweight. It's not very heavy at all. The material is really high quality. The grip feels really good in the hand. I could hold that for hours and not get any stress or any tension in my hands. So it's a really good feel, really nice design, and the metal is fantastic. Like the design is awesome. I've used Smallrig equipment before and I trust them, and they haven't let me down ever. So far so good when it comes to this handrail. When it comes to actually using these hand grips, they are absolutely a joy to shoot with because they allow you to be able to have more control over your gimbal and over your tilts, over your pans, all of it. Any shot that I've tried to do, it's been perfectly sound, it's been perfectly stable. Obviously you're not just gonna be able to run around and not do your ninja walk and not do the things that you need to do with the gimbal, but if you do those in combination with the handle grips, man, it works beautifully. Like I haven't had any issues at all. You can go into underslung mode with these hand grips, and it's so awesome. And I've had a really good time shooting with these, and the plus side of this is that they don't take away from anything else with the gimbal. Actually, you can use the tripod feet of the RS2 so that when you're done shooting, you can use the handle grips to shoot and carry it as you're shooting, and then when you're done shooting or you need a break, you can can still set it down on the tripod feet and still be free to walk around and do whatever you need to do. So the gimbal use is still there. You're just adding that extra functionality and control of having those side grips. So really good. It's a really good feel to it. And for me, the biggest thing, and probably the biggest reason why I got them, was because it takes off a lot of that stress and a lot of that tension that was going into my shoulders and my traps. When I was just using the monopod, or when I was just using the gimbal on its own without the grips, a lot of tension was going into my traps. So having these hand grips made it a lot easier to distribute the weight of that R3 rig to be able to carry it for hours. Like I think I did a shoot maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago where we were shooting for about 4 or 5 hours, and I was just rolling with it. I was going with it. I set it down when we weren't shooting, which I couldn't do with my monopod. I kind of had to like shrink it back down and keep an eye on it the whole time. I couldn't just set it down and be gone. This one allows me to actually be able to take a break and not have to be attached to it. And when I was shooting, all the tension, all the pressure, like the weight of that whole setup was evenly spread out between my shoulders. So I wasn't like feeling all of it on my traps or on one side or the other. It was just a joy. Like I could have shot for 10 hours without any stress. So really enjoyed the use of it. Really enjoyed my experience using this on an actual day of shoot. And the last thing that I want to talk about with these hand grips is that they actually give you more mounting options for your gear. So if you got a setup and you want to maybe add another monitor, or you want to add another external microphone, there are options on here on that NATO rail to be able to mount other things, and it works in really good. I actually mounted my external mic onto the rail, and that kept me from having to put it on top of my camera while it was on the gimbal. So that was a really cool thing, because that's one less thing for me to balance. So just a lot of really good things coming out of this setup. The hand grips are phenomenal. They feel good in the hand. They're lightweight. They're easy to use. What more could you ask for? And they literally do the trick. So I'm super excited. Honestly, my experience with these has been awesome, as you can tell. Super excited to continue to shoot with these. And I'm gonna do a video on combining these with the RS2 and kind of show you my experience with the RS2 here in 2023. And I totally love this setup. It's my favorite setup. It's how I shoot all the time. And it stays set up. I don't break it down ever, just because I'm constantly running and it's easy to take on the go with me. So that's it for today, guys. Just wanted to update you on my favorite purchase for videography over this past year. So if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and tune in next time right here on Cashed Out. Take it easy, guys.